Hello everyone, today is September the 26th, 2019, and this is episode 24 of the Digipire podcast, where we discuss everything related to living and working in the digital economy. Today we're going to do something a little different because I had some unexpected travel that I had to go on. So this is going to be making money with phone numbers. I originally recorded this a couple of years ago on another project that I was doing. And actually did a make money with phone numbers episode in the beginning of this, when I first started this podcast back several months ago. So this is kind of going into more detail with that. And that's it. So enjoy this program. It's a little less than 45 minutes, and we will resume our regular schedule next week, and we'll be on our way into October. So I'll be here with you live next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye bye now. And go over how you can make money from telephone numbers. It's one example of a database site that I build. I mean, there's all kinds of database sites that you can build. The sky is pretty much the limit. You can stay busy for 50 or 60 hours a week just doing that, just basically researching, really. That's why you have to have people do it for you, or otherwise you would just never sleep. Anyway, today I'm going to go over telephone sites. Basically, when you type in a telephone number, for example, 304-555-1727, you will get a list of results in Google. It could be 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, or whatever. And the whole goal of the database site is to rank for as many telephone numbers as you can. And by rank, I mean when you type in that telephone number, that your site is number one, or as close to the top as it possibly can be. And then when people click onto your site, you make money from that click, and you want to make as much money as you can. How do you make money? Well, I'm going to go over that tomorrow. I probably won't go over that today, but there's money to be made. And it's all part of building your digital empire, so you don't have to ship product, you don't have to talk to people by pushing MLM, you don't have to do all the crap that you have to do, or that keeps you stuck in your house, or stuck in your home office, or stuck wherever. You can do this stuff from anywhere in the world that you want to be. It's kind of like what Tim Ferriss says, the new rich. So you're very mobile. You can work, make money, do whatever, from ship in the ocean or just wherever. I mean, I'm not trying to glam it up. I mean, it's not all. I mean, it's not all glamorous, and it's not all fun, and sometimes it's hard work, and you spend a lot of time doing, working, and you make nothing. So, but you've learned something. You've learned what not to do next time. You learn what to do better next time. So I'm not going to make it sound easy. I'm not going to make it sound glamorous, because it's a lot of hard work. I mean, anything worthwhile is going to be difficult, or everyone would do it, right? So, but anyway, I'm going to go over how I make these database sites, how I promote them, and how I make money from them, more importantly, because that's what everyone wants to know, right? So you can follow the progress of this. I mean, I've been doing this since 2008. I thought I would share a little bit of what I know, because a lot of people ask, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Well, I do a little bit of everything, but this is one way that I make money, and this is what keeps one thing that keeps me out of the rat race that I escaped from back in 2001, 2002. So hopefully you can find some insight, or find some nuggets of information that you can use for yourself. or for your other projects or for whatever you may be doing. This isn't for everyone, blah, 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 blah. But you can follow the progress of this project that I'm making public at digipire.com/phone. And I give you information of how much money I'm making, how much money I'm spending, all the details that you would need, minus the actual web page that you would have to build for doing something like this. And I might expose some of my. I have some other projects on digipire.com that I've made public. I don't make everything public, of course, but you can look at that as well once you log into the website. You have access to, I think, all of that, everything that I've made public, I think. So anyway, let's get started on that and find out what this is all about. Oh, before I forget, you might want to stream this through Chromecast if you have it. I upload this on several different channels, so whether you're watching Facebook, YouTube, or whatever, you might want to stream it through Chromecast or Roku. That way you can see the websites and basically what I'm doing on screen. It makes it much, much easier. Or make it really big, or view it from a desktop. It's very difficult if you're viewing this from mobile to see what I'm doing. So that's what I would recommend if you're watching this live or a recording. Oh.
Okay. First, I want to show you what I mean by telephone number database sites. As you probably have done a million times before, you've probably typed in a phone number into your search box. So here we are on Google. I'm going to type in a phone number. I'm going to use this one and see what pops up. Okay. So as you can see, let me get my mic out of here. As you can see, there's a lot of numbers here. Let me see a second. I'm just now getting used to this new program, so you'll have to bear with me. So, White Pages shows up on this. Whitepages.com is a very huge site, of course, but it's very easy to. There's literally millions of combinations of telephone numbers. I don't know exactly how many, but there's a lot. So there's a lot of room to rank for any particular phone number. So you don't have to usually worry about these big sites. So what you do want to focus on are the small sites, like who is that number, kind of research them, check out telephone number. This is a good one. Mr. Number's been around a long time, and things like that. And so when you go to one of these websites, for example, like I want to click on this, turn this off. But how are these people making money off of this one telephone number? How are they doing that? So we're going to find out what some of them are doing. For example, this caller. Oh, this one's actually down. That's interesting. Oh, I'm going to put that in my research. That's interesting. I'm going to put Color City is actually down. Oh, shit. So I'm actually going to take a note of that. I'm going to do an Evernote clipper. So that's something that you want to look out for. Save. I don't want that. Let's see. So I'm going to make a note of that. I'm going to put that in that's on a dedicated server. That site's down. That's very interesting because ColorCity.com used to be a pretty big one. So I'm not sure how they monetize it, though. There's so many ways to monetize it that I can't keep track, but we'll go to the next one. So, OKCaller.com, I'm going to see how they monetize this one. And they're using Google Ads. So they're using Google Ads. I know they're using Google Ads because that little thing right here says ad choices. That's a Google ad. I'm not going to click on it. I don't want to waste their advertising dollars. But they're using Google Ads, so they're wanting you to. They're basically ranking for this particular number, and they're wanting you to type this in and go to their sponsor, so they get paid per click on that. I don't usually do that with the phone sites. I don't prefer that, but maybe I could try it. Maybe I'll try it one day. I don't know, but I prefer a ClickBank product or something of that sort. So let's go to the next one. Let's see how CallerName.com is monetizing their site. So how are they monetizing it? Monetizing it means basically how they making money off of it. We're doing Google Ads too. You need to be careful with doing Google Ads on database sites because if they deem it as any kind, it's kind of like a gray hat kind of thing. It could be considered as somewhat spammy, and they often flag domains for manual review, as I've had some of mine done, and they will ban the entire domain, and that's pretty much a permanent thing. I can give you some examples of that later. But so you want to be careful with using Google AdSense on any kind of database site or something that might be considered as spammy, because the whole goal of this is to rank for a lot of different numbers. There's millions of combinations or hundreds of thousands, however many there are of these numbers, and if you rank just for there's times when you can get 400 or 500 click-throughs or visitors a day to a website. That's why this one probably has a dedicated server. So that's a lot of traffic. Instead of trying to rank for one keyword, you're ranking for 500. You're basically focusing on low-hanging fruit, or is that how you say it? But you're ranking for a bunch of stuff. You make money in volume, so spending money and trying to rank for one high volume keyword. So that's the whole goal of database sites. So this one's using basically the same thing. They're using Google AdSense. So they're doing been verified. That's actually a good one. And see if you click that on here. I don't think they're paying per click. I'm pretty sure they're not. So I'm going to put my number in here, or put a number. See what happens. See what happens. I used to promote been verified. I actually like them. I might consider that something again. And so this is another, they're looking for information, blah, 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 and it's basically, so let's see what kind of affiliate program they have. Affiliate, see how much you get per sign up or per whatever. Well, it's not saying. It's not telling you how much. It's not really giving you any information about their just wanting you to sign up. I'm not going to sign up for something. They used to be on the CPA networks, been verified while I was on service. CPA networks that I was on. So that's why I found it used to be like anything else, about $20 or $30, something like that per sign up. But anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. So how else? Oh, I didn't record that. Oh, you didn't see that, so I didn't record that. It just opened up in a new window, so you didn't see that. Anyway. So anyway, I'm going through here and finding out how these people are promoting it, because you need to find out, once you find a domain, which I want to go through here in a minute, or maybe next time. Once you find a domain, you want to be able to make money from it. So I'm kind of doing this backwards, but you need to figure out how much you need to figure out a sponsor or an affiliate program, or you need to figure out a way to make money off this stuff, and you want to make it worth your time. So I kind of I already know what I'm using. I'm using the same stuff. I'm open for new ideas, and I'm always researching the competition. But I'm going to check this one. So this one, yeah, that's the Google thing too. That's a Google, basically the thing was before. And we can dive into this even more. We can research each one of these websites, which I've done and continue to do. I keep a database. I have to manually do it. I keep a database. Oh, this one's very spammy. This one is exactly what I'm looking for. They're putting all the numbers on here. And this is basically keyword spam. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to suck this away on my Google Keep for later observation. See, I learned so much from doing this myself. So anyway, let's see here. Where's my Google Keep? So I'm going to look at that for later. That's basically keyword spam. I mean, let's see how they're monetizing it. If you put a bunch of keywords in that, if you did that, this was about us. Huh. I'll have to look into that a little later. That's very interesting. But their site's very simple. Let me go to their main site. Yeah, their main site. Yeah, if this looks very similar to what I'm doing or what I've done to one of my sites, which is my site, that's very similar. But this site has been banned. This site was actually banned a long time ago. So anyway, that's very. Oh, you didn't see that because I'm not recording. Wait a minute, maybe we are. Am I recording that? Yeah. So anyway, they have a high likelihood of getting banned. I have to look into that a little bit more. But yeah, these are database sites. Okay, so I'm kind of doing this backwards. I'm researching how I'm finding out. I'm telling you, I'm looking for ways to promote or put ads on here or make money from these websites, which already have a plan. I was just kind of doing some research on my own, kind of letting me look over my shoulder, so to speak. But yeah, so I'm looking at that for later. So I am going to now. I'm going to go over and I'm going to skip this now that you understand the whole point of this exercise. You put in a phone number. You find all these websites that are basically trying to sell you something. I mean, they're not giving you anything of value unless you pay for it. So they're basically ads. So we're researching the competition. We're finding out what we can sell once we find a domain and set up a website. So now I'm going to go to one of my favorite tools to find a domain that will help us get ranked for these keywords in Google. Since Google is the number one player in the search universe, that's the one that we focus on, or one that I focus on. I don't even fool with myself. So I'm going to, hold on just a second. So I'm gonna go to that. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go to my acquireddomains.net. And there's a lot of sites like this that charge anywhere from $20 to $100 a month. This one is free, expireddomains.net, and I highly recommend it. First of all, I go in and I want to find something that is related to the thing that I'm trying to promote or sell or push or find in the search engines. So with that in mind, I'm trying to rank for phone, trying to look for telephone numbers. So I'm going to type in something like phone or telephone or number or that kind of thing. I've already done this earlier and typed them in my watch list, so I have some that I am looking at. And you want to pay attention to these top fields here. You want to pay attention to the backlinks. That's the external backlinks. You want to pay attention to the number of backlinks from different domains, because it's better to have 500 backlinks from 400 different domains, different IPs, than it is to have 400 backlinks from one IP or a couple IPs or a couple domains. So that's the big difference. You want to keep track of the year that it was established, or the birth year, the first day it was found in archive.org, the first time basically someone registered it. The older, the better. You want to make sure that after I look at these things, I look to make sure that it's not banned in Google. So a good way to tell, pretty foolproof way, not guaranteed, it's not 100% accurate, but unless there's extenuating circumstances, I completely mark it off my want list if it does this. So I click this little tool here, I click on Google site, and if it doesn't have any listings, if it doesn't have, you can't see this right now, I'm going to do this real fast. If it doesn't have any listings, as you can see here, there's nothing that's showing up here, then I mark it. I don't pursue it. So that's something that you don't want to fool with. So I'll look at and you can do filters here. You can do a filter by different things. You can do you can do however many backlinks you want. You can sort them by education.edu, .gov, says they're given higher value backlinks than .coms or .net. So if you have a minimum requirement for that, which when it is this specific, you don't want to be too choosy, because you want to pay more attention to the unique backlinks, basically is what I call them, and how old it is. So this one is actually, I can take it off my list because I'm not going to do anything with it. The one that I am interested in is reverse phone directory, and I am going to register that live with you, and I'll tell you why. Or no, actually, it's not that one. Wait a minute. It's telephone number trace. Not only is it kind of catchy, which you don't get, you very rarely do you get type-in traffic on database sites. I mean, occasionally, but I've found through the years, I've been doing it since 2008, and I've found that very rarely people type that in there. It's not worth focusing on that. So that's not the reason I'm interested in it. I'm interested in it because it has unique. It has a domain. It's 2008. It's not banned, as you can see. Just a second. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to do this. It has 93 results, so it's been indexed in Google, which will give you a head start when you set up your website. So since it already has pages in Google, it just gives you a head start. Backlinks, pages in Google, you get a head start. And that's always a good thing, and especially when it's at regular price. I mean, I paid $300 or $400 a while back ago for a domain very similar to this. Excuse me. So it's 2008. It's almost 10 years old. It has. I'm going to check the backlinks real fast. Different domains and check. I'm going to check it on. Hold on just a second. I don't want that. Okay. So you want to check SEMrush. I'm going to put this on the page here. I already get it too. I'll have to register again. I mean, I'm not going to sign in. But it has 5 backlinks, so it's pretty accurate to what it says on here. So I'm not going to pay any more attention to that. I am going to now. Let's see. I'm going to now register this domain telephone number trace. And I'm going to do that right now. I'd do all my registrations through Namecheap.com. And again, the reason that I chose this is because the number of unique backlinks. It's almost 10 years old. It's not banned. It has several pages indexed in Google. And that's about it. I'm going to try it and see what happens. Like I said, it's all about testing. You have to, it's going to cost about $10 to buy this domain. It might work, it might not. I mean, sometimes they take off, sometimes they don't. It's just one of those things. Google's algorithm is very complex. No one has quite figured it out yet. Let alone me, that's just a layman that doesn't. That's not the expert that some people are. So anyway, I'm going to go to Namecheap. And register this domain and set it up on hosting, and you'll see me exactly how I do that. So telephone number trace.com. And to register, hopefully it's still available. I'm assuming it is. Unless someone's already registered it while they're watching this video. So I'm going to check out. While I'm waiting on that, I'm going to pour my drink so I can take my medicine. Okay, I don't think it added it. Someone view cart. I always look for a Google. Oh, it's already on special, so okay. So I'm going to confirm order. I'm going to check out. International. I need to set up the name servers. Okay, so I want to manage this domain. I need to set the name servers. And I'm going to use the same ones as this one, so now it's on that same shared host, or the same. So let's let them. What did I just do with my telephone number trace? I need to manage this. So I'm going to change the name servers, and basically the name servers is it tells you basically the phone number for the website. It tells you where to direct it to. So. You want to click this little button up here. And now we are going to set it up on my hosting account. I use GoDaddy or not GoDaddy, but HostGator for my shared hosting. I don't recommend them for dedicated hosting, but for shared hosting, I use HostGator. So I'm going to go to my shared web hosting account I have set up and set up this domain on my hosting. So I'm going to create a new account. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Oh, shit. Damn it. Oh. Telephone. Some bit number. I don't want to use that. Number 91. I'm going to use password generator. I'm going to put the email. And I'm going to create the account. I'm going to make sure. So which one I have? Quota, I don't want 25,000. You have to be careful. You have to set the quota. I guess the Windows Phone, the RIP Windows Phone, just got word of that. Okay, I want unlimited virtual warm. So I'm going to go up here to choose package, unlimited virtual warm. What was that? Well, it's not really unlimited, but it saves me a lot of time having to upgrade everything and be aggravated with it. So it's still doing this, I'm assuming. Okay, so now it's set up in my cPanel, and I should wait about 5 or 10 minutes, and it should propagate through the internet, and it should register to my hosting. And now I'm going to set it up on FTP, and I'm on FileZilla, so I can transfer files to the website, since it's an HTML site and not a WordPress site. So I'm going to do that right now, actually in just a moment.
Okay, I'm going to stop this right here because this is already getting too long. It's over 30 minutes. Okay, I'm not going to pretend that that you're going to be able to start off the gate and make database sites and market them and make a bunch of money. This is kind of skipping straight through basic math, going to algebra, and headed towards geometry, trig, and calculus. So you need to know some basic things before you even attempt to do this. And there's some tutorials out there. You need to know a little bit about hosting, cPanel, WordPress, pretty much the basics before you take on something like this, a database site and all that kind of thing. There's just so many facets to everything that you need to find a niche and focus on it. But if you learn how to maneuver around hosting, different ways or different services you can use to register your domains, what a domain is, how it all works. Like I said, there's some good courses out there that will help you with that, and that I'll link them later on this phone site database portal on digipire.com/phone. But anybody can learn this stuff. It's not rocket science stuff. You have to start somewhere. But you have to start with the basics. You have to learn how to add before you can go on to algebra. And this is kind of the same thing. You need how to maneuver. You need to know about cPanel. You need to know about FTP. You need to know how to lit up FileZilla when you need to. You need to know about cPanel and that kind of thing. You don't need to know how to code. You can find someone else to do that. You basically you can be, the way I like to see it, as a general contractor. You know the basics about everything, but you don't actually know how to code. For example, I can't code a lot of things. I know what I want. I know when to look. I know when I see any funny business. Stuff like that. It's very basic stuff. When it comes down to, if someone told me to code something, I cannot do that. I know how to. I know to speak the language for the most part, or find someone who's more fluent in the language that can relay what I'm trying to do, but I can't code per se. So, but you can find someone who does. So the whole point of this, the whole point of digipire.com and just everything that revolves around that is sharing with you how to build your digital property, or your your digital assets, or your intellectual property, that people can't take away from you as easily. Because believe me, IP lawyers are very, very expensive, and most people aren't going to have the resources to fight you and a lot of that stuff. So my goal has been to, over the past almost not quite 2 decades, but what, 16, 17 years, I don't know, has been to build my long-term digital assets or my intellectual property along with other stuff. Like my real estate is like a buy and hold thing. I've tried some other things in the physical realm that were failures that I will never do again, unless it was, I might anyway, that's for another thing. But right now, I'm focused on my digital assets and my intellectual property, which is kind of the same thing. And I would highly suggest you do the same if you're interested in this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not rocket scientist. Some people are going to be better at it than others, but you need to start with the basics. And the basics, as far as this kind of stuff is concerned, it will help you with everything that you pursue as far as building your digital portfolio online. You need to know how to maneuver around cPanel, WordPress, hosting, registrars, all that kind of real basic stuff. And I will link to that on the phone portal, the phone database portal at digipire.com/phone. I'll link to that sometime today or tomorrow, whatever, soon. And you can find that there. Like I said, there's some excellent courses out there that are free and some you pay for, blah, 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 blah. You want to get into, you want to know how to add before you go into more advanced stuff. And this is kind of getting into the big basic algebra before you can add kind of thing. I know a lot of this stuff might be over a lot of people's head. So that is where you need to start from page 1 and then move your way forward. Start with the first textbook, Principles of the Internet, or whatever. So that's it. Tomorrow I'm going to have a video on exactly what I do to get this page online. I'm going to give you an example of a phone database site that I've created, that I use, that I've made money on in the past. That's actually banned by Google now, but I use it to make other sites, and what I do to promote those sites, what I do to optimize the amount, or to get the site to make as much money as I possibly can. And whether I'm going to do it for the long term or for it to, is it crash and burn? What is it when you, I can't think of what I'm trying to say. Or to get it to make as much money as possible and then get rid of it, or whatever. There's different approaches to the whole thing. So follow the journey. You can be updated when I post a video. Wherever you may be watching this, if you're watching on YouTube, you can press the subscribe button. If you're watching on Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook, on my personal page, or my business page, or my DigiPire page, or wherever you may be watching this. You can subscribe to get updates when I update this phone portal, and hopefully you can learn something, a thing or two to apply to your own projects, or your own building your own digital portfolio, or just whatever. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm nice. I try to respond to everyone that I can. Some of it takes me a little longer than usual, but feel free to ask me any question. I don't believe in stupid questions, because you wouldn't ask it if you didn't, So anyway, that's it. Have a good evening.